The stars above the outpost didn't shine as brightly anymore. It was a quiet place, far from the center of the galaxy. Cold metal walls surrounded the medical wing where the alien vampire woman was kept. Most people had stopped visiting her. They believed it was just a matter of time before she would die. Her name was Zuria. Once her kind had been feared across the stars. Her people, known as the Virelians, could survive only by feeding on bioenergy, a type of life force found in all living things. But the Galactic Council had banned this feeding long ago. Now she was one of the last of her kind, kept alive in a cold cell, barely breathing. People called her dangerous, a monster, a threat to peace. But one human didn't believe that. His name was Cole. He was not a soldier or a leader. He was just a young engineer who fixed power systems and cleaned filters on this lonely outpost. He had no power or fame, but he had something others had lost, a sense of curiosity and a heart that cared. Cole had first seen Zuria during a repair job near the medical wing. She was lying still behind thick glass, her skin pale and dry, her breathing so shallow it was almost invisible. But her eyes had not lost their glow. They looked tired, but not evil, sad, but not dangerous. "She's still alive?" Cole had asked the guard. "Barely. Doesn't matter. No one's coming to help her," the guard replied. "Let her fade away. It's better that way." Cole walked away, but her image stayed in his mind. Later that night he returned. The medical wing was mostly empty after lights out. He snuck in through a maintenance tunnel and entered the chamber where she was kept. The door hissed quietly as it opened. He stepped closer. She didn't move. Her chest rose slowly, just enough to prove she was alive. He looked at the control panel beside her chamber. Her energy levels were dangerously low. Artificial energy was being fed into her system, but it wasn't working. It was like trying to water a dying tree with dust. "She's starving," he whispered. Zuria opened her eyes. Cole froze. Her voice was faint. "Human, why are you here?" "I don't know," he said honestly. "I just couldn't walk away." She stared at him for a long time. Then she closed her eyes again. "You should leave. It's not safe." But Cole didn't leave. Instead, he sat down beside the chamber, resting his back against the wall. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said. "I just want to understand." Hours passed. He returned the next night, and the next. He began bringing small things. Extra. Thermal pads, clean water tubes, even recordings of soft music from Earth. He wasn't sure if she listened, but he hoped she did. Days turned into a week. Zuria's voice grew a little stronger. "Why do you care?" Cole smiled. "Because you're still breathing. That means you haven't given up." She didn't answer, but her eyes lingered on him longer now. While others had accepted her death, Cole had made a choice to try. Cole kept visiting Zuria every night. He always used the maintenance tunnels to avoid security cameras. Nobody knew what he was doing, and he wanted to keep it that way. Zuria was still weak, but she began to speak more each day. Her voice, once dry and quiet, was now soft but steady. She had questions. "Why do you risk so much for me, human?" she asked one evening. Cole sat cross-legged near the edge of her energy chamber. "Because no one else will," he replied. "You're alive." "That should mean something." Zuria looked at him with unreadable eyes. "You know what I am." "Yes," Cole nodded. "But I don't think you're a monster." She turned her face away but didn't argue. Cole had read old files. He knew what the Virelians were. Their species used to feed on the life energy of others. That's how they survived. But after the Galactic Council outlawed it, the Virelians started dying. Most were captured or hunted down. Zuria was one of the last. The Council had tried artificial energy, but it didn't work. Virelian biology was too complex. No machine could copy real-life energy. That's why she was fading. That night, Cole made a decision. He sneaked into the data lab and accessed the restricted files on Virelian physiology. He knew it was illegal, But he needed answers. The files showed something strange. Varelians didn't need to drain anyone completely. They could survive on shared energy. Just a little if it was real. If it came from a willing person. Cole's heart pounded. Could a human survive sharing a part of his life energy? He wasn't sure, but he had to try. The next day, he worked overtime to hide his plan. He borrowed an old energy transfer module from the repair bay and modified it. It was meant to charge batteries from solar panels, but with a few changes, it could connect directly to his biosignature. When night came, he returned to Zoraya's chamber. She noticed the device in his hands. "What is that?" she asked. "It's something I built," Cole said. "It can transfer energy from me to you." Zoraya's eyes widened. "No, that's too dangerous. I'll give only a little," he said. "Enough to help." She stared at him, angry and scared. "You don't understand. If your body reacts badly, you could get hurt. You might not wake up. I'm willing to take that risk." "No," she whispered. "I don't want to kill you." Cole smiled gently. "Then don't take it all. Just enough to stay alive." Silence filled the room. Finally, Zoraya looked down. "You're a strange human." "I've heard that before," Cole replied. She didn't stop him. He connected the wires and activated the pod. A soft hum filled the air. A warm light passed between them. Cole felt dizzy for a moment, like standing too fast after a long rest. Zoraya gasped. Her body shivered as energy flowed into her. Her pale skin gained a slight glow. Her breathing became deeper. It lasted only 10 seconds. Then Cole cut the power. He dropped to one knee, catching his breath. "See? I'm okay." Zoraya stared at her hands. She looked alive again. "You did it," she whispered. "You actually did it." He nodded, tired but smiling. From that moment, everything began to change. The next morning, Cole woke up feeling weak. His body was cold and his head was heavy. But when he remembered Zoraya's face, no longer pale and lifeless, it gave him strength. He had done something no one else had dared to do. He had given her a chance, but secrets never stay hidden forever. 2 days later, Commander Jorek summoned Cole to his office. Jorek was a tall, strict man with a metal badge that showed his rank. His sharp eyes watched Cole closely. "I've been told you've been spending time near the medical wing," Jorek said. Cole stayed calm. "Yes, sir. I was checking the backup systems. There were some errors in the power logs." "Are you sure that's all?" "Yes, sir." Jorek leaned forward. "Listen, son, that creature, Zoraya, is not your friend. She's dangerous. Her kind nearly destroyed a colony on Varnus 5. People died. Good people. Do you understand?" Cole nodded, but inside, his heart burned. They were only looking at her past, not her present. "She's not hurting anyone," Cole said quietly. "Not yet," Jorek replied. "But we won't take risks. Her case is closed. The council already decided. She'll stay under observation until nature takes its course." "You mean until she dies?" Cole said, his voice sharper. Jorek frowned. "Watch your tone. If I find out you're doing anything illegal, especially feeding her energy, you'll be removed from this outpost." Cole said nothing. He left the office with a heavy heart. That night he didn't visit Zoraya, but she noticed. The next day when he finally returned, she was sitting up, weak but awake. Her eyes studied him closely. "You didn't come last night." "I couldn't," Cole said. "They're watching me." "You should stop," Zoraya said. "They'll punish you. I'm not worth it." "You are to me," he replied without thinking. Her expression changed slightly, softened, as if no one had said those words to her before. Cole sighed and sat down beside the energy pod. "They think you're still dangerous." "I was once," Zoraya admitted. "But that was before the war. Before I was captured, I've changed. Hunger changes us, but kindness reminds us of who we were." There was silence between them for a moment. Cole finally said, "I'm going to help. You again. I just have to find a safer way. I won't let you hurt yourself. I'll be careful, I promise." Over the next few nights, Cole worked on improving the energy transfer pod. He adjusted the settings to reduce the strain on his body. He tested it with tiny amounts, just enough to keep Zureya stable. Her body began to respond. Her skin healed. Faster, her voice grew stronger, and her eyes held more life. One night after the transfer, she looked at him and said, "Your energy, it's different. Warm, gentle. It's like your emotions are flowing into me. Maybe that's what healing feels like," he said with a smile. She didn't smile, but her eyes told him something had changed. But danger was still near. Jorik had noticed changes in the system logs. The energy reports showed strange power usage during night hours. He had ordered a silent investigation, and soon someone else would discover the truth. Cole thought he was being careful. Every night he waited until the cameras shifted. He used only small amounts of energy for each transfer. Zureya was getting stronger, and he was learning how much his body could handle. But someone had started watching. One night, as Cole finished another energy transfer, a faint noise echoed in the hallway outside. A soft beep, then a low hum, like a scanner being used. Zureya turned her head sharply. "Someone's there." Cole froze. He rushed to disconnect the cables and hide the device behind the maintenance panel. The lights dimmed back to normal. A moment later, a junior officer named Ren walked in. He was holding a small scanner. His eyes narrowed when he saw Cole inside the chamber. "What are you doing here?" Ren asked. Cole stayed calm. "Just checking the system. This unit sometimes overloads at night." Ren didn't look convinced. He checked his scanner again. "Strange readings coming from this room. You're not charging anything?" "Nope," Cole replied quickly. "Probably just the old wiring." Ren didn't argue, but he kept looking at Zureya. She didn't move. She was pretending to be asleep, but her breathing was stronger now. Her skin looked healthier, too healthy. Ren left without saying more, but Cole knew it was a problem. He waited 10 minutes, then turned to Zureya. "We're running out of time." "I can hide it better," she said. "No, this isn't your fault. I should have known they'd send someone to check." Zureya looked at him seriously. "If they find out, they'll take you away." "I know." That night, Cole couldn't sleep. He paced in his small quarters, thinking about everything. He didn't want to stop, but he couldn't let Zureya be blamed for his choices either. The next day, he visited an old friend, Dr. Malin, a quiet medical researcher who worked alone. Cole had helped him with repairs many times. Now he needed help back. "I want to understand more about Varelian biology," Cole said carefully. Dr. Malin raised an eyebrow. "That's restricted. Just help me with theory. I'm working on a project, energy stability systems." The doctor leaned back. "You're hiding something." Cole didn't deny it. "I won't report you," Dr. Malin finally said. "But be careful. That species is on the edge of extinction. The council made up its mind long ago." "What if they're wrong?" Cole asked. The doctor paused. "Then history will remember who tried to fix it." Armed with new knowledge, Cole returned to the chamber that night with improvements. The energy transfer pod now had filters to prevent shock and alarms to stop overuse. He smiled as he connected the wires. "Ready?" he asked. Zureya nodded. "I trust you." As the energy flowed, her face relaxed. A soft color returned to her cheeks. She looked alive. But just as Cole was disconnecting the device, alarms blared across the station. Emergency lights flashed red. "Warning, security. Breach detected, unauthorized access in Medical Sector 4. Cole's heart dropped. He turned to Zureya. "They're coming." Red lights blinked across the corridor. Loud sirens echoed through the halls. Cole grabbed his energy device and hid it inside his jacket. Zureya sat up inside her chamber, her eyes glowing faintly now, not from hunger, but from life. "They're coming," Cole said, breathing hard. Zureya looked at him, calm but serious. "You should run." "No," Cole replied. I won't leave you. Footsteps approached fast. The door opened sharply. 2 armed guards entered, followed by Commander Jorek and Officer Wren. All of them stared at the scene, the cables, the power levels, and Zureya looking healthier than ever. Jorek's face turned red with anger. You disobeyed direct orders. Cole stood tall. I saved her. She's a threat to the outpost and the council. You had no right. She hasn't hurt anyone. I've been giving her small amounts of my own energy, only enough to keep her alive. That's the problem, Jorek shouted. She's not supposed to survive. Zureya looked at Jorek with calm eyes. Then why keep me here at all? Why not end it quickly? Jorek turned to the guards. Take the human into custody. Zureya's status is now a level 1 threat. The guards stepped forward. Cole raised his hands slowly, trying not to cause trouble. But suddenly, one of the guards aimed a stun stick toward Zureya's chamber. Zureya reacted without thinking. She moved faster than anyone expected, breaking through the glass-like door with a sharp burst of strength. The stun stick barely touched her. She pushed the guard back with a controlled force, just enough to knock him down, not harm him. The room fell silent. The second guard didn't move. He was frozen in fear. Zureya stood in front of Cole, arms spread slightly, protecting him. I'm not your enemy, she said firmly, but I will not let you hurt him. Cole couldn't believe it. She had defended him. Not with violence, but with control. Jorek looked shaken. You still have power, but you didn't kill him. I could have, Zureya replied. But I didn't. Wren, the younger officer, finally spoke. Sir, I think we should report this to the Galactic Council before acting. She showed restraint. Jorek's jaw tightened. He didn't like it, but he couldn't deny what he saw. Fine, he said. We'll send the footage to the council. Until then she stays under watch. And Cole? He pointed a firm finger. One more step out of line and you're off this station. Cole nodded, breathing hard. The guards helped the fallen man to his feet. Zureya stepped back into her chamber, willingly. The door closed behind her, but this time she stood with pride, not weakness. That night, Cole returned quietly to his room. He was tired, but his heart felt strong. He had stood for something. Zureya had stood for him too. In her chamber, Zureya sat down, her eyes soft. For the first time in years, she felt like more than a prisoner. She felt human. The next few days were filled with silence and tension. Everyone on the outpost had heard what happened. The alien vampire woman had broken free, but instead of attacking, she had protected a human. No one could believe it. Some were afraid, others were curious. For the first time, people were asking questions instead of giving orders. Commander Jorek sent the security footage to the Galactic Council. A response came quickly. They ordered a trial. It was rare for a non-human prisoner to be given such a chance. But the council wanted answers. Why had Zureya used her powers without violence? Why had a human helped her? What did this mean for the future? The trial was held in the outpost's main chamber. High-ranking officers attended through live communication screens. Council members, human and alien, watched from across the galaxy. Zureya stood in a clear containment field. She looked calm, her hands behind her back. She wore a simple gray robe. Cole sat nearby, surrounded by guards, but he was allowed to speak. Commander Jorek stood and began. This Virelian prisoner used illegal energy transfer. She broke security. She is a danger to this station and to the peace of the galaxy. One council member asked. And the human engineer? Why did he help her? Cole stood. His voice was steady even though his hands were shaking. I helped her because no one else would. She was dying. I gave her a small part of my energy. Not much, just enough to keep her alive, and in return she saved my life when the guards attacked. You broke the law, Jorek said sharply. I followed my heart, Cole replied. And I learned something you didn't. The chamber fell silent. Cole continued. Zureya didn't choose to be what she is. She was born this way, but she chose not to hurt anyone, even when she could have. That means something. She deserves more than a cage. She deserves a chance. A female council member leaned forward. Zoreya, do you want revenge? Do you wish harm on any species? Zoreya's voice was soft but clear. No. I only want to live. I don't want to feed off others anymore. Cole's energy helped me feel different. I felt warmth, emotion. I remembered who I was before the war. Another council member said, if we allow you to live, how can we be sure you won't return to your old ways? Zoreya looked down, then met their eyes. You can't be sure. But I can. I made my choice. Everyone waited. Finally, an older council member spoke. A gray-skinned alien with deep eyes. Years ago, a Varelian saved my daughter during a border war. I never thought I'd see one again, let alone hear such words. Perhaps we were wrong to judge them all the same. Murmurs filled the chamber. After a short pause, the final decision was made. The council granted Zoreya limited freedom. She would remain under peaceful observation, but no longer as a prisoner, and Cole would be allowed to continue helping her, with full monitoring and safety precautions in place. Commander Jorek was not pleased, but he followed the order. As the chamber emptied, Cole turned to Zoreya. You did it. Zoreya smiled faintly. No, we did it. And for the first time, hope returned, not just for her, but for both of them. Weeks passed. Zoreya was no longer locked in a glass chamber. Her new room was small but clean, with a window that showed the stars. She could walk freely inside the medical section and speak to others, with guards nearby, of course. But she was not a prisoner anymore. Cole visited every evening. He brought warm food, stories from Earth, and sometimes just silence. Zoreya didn't need much. She just liked that someone sat with her, not out of duty, but from kindness. The energy transfer pod was now fully safe and approved by the council. It used a careful balance, giving Zoreya enough strength without harming Cole. Every few days she accepted a little more, and her body grew stronger. But more important than her body, her heart had changed too. One day she stood at the window, watching a cargo ship fly past the stars. Cole stood beside her. I used to dream about escaping, she said quietly. Running far away. Finding a place where I wouldn't be hunted. And now? Cole asked. She looked at him with calm eyes. Now I want to build something. A life, not escape from it. He smiled. I think that's a good dream. That evening, the council sent a message. Zoreya was being offered a rare choice, to leave the outpost and join a peace program that helped rebuild lost alien cultures. It was a second chance. But it came with a condition. She had to leave the outpost, and Cole, behind. When Cole heard the news, he said nothing for a moment. Then he forced a smile. You should go. It's your future. Zoreya didn't speak. That night, she stayed awake for hours, looking at the stars. The next morning, the outpost gathered near the landing bay. A clean silver ship waited to take her away. Officials stood nearby, ready to record her departure. Zoreya walked toward the ship slowly, but halfway up the ramp she stopped. She turned around. Her eyes searched the crowd, then stopped on Cole, standing silently at the back. I made my choice, she said loudly. Everyone turned to look. Zoreya walked down the ramp and stood beside Cole. If I leave behind the one person who believed in me, then I'm not free. Not really. Cole's eyes widened. Are you sure? She nodded. You gave me life. I want to live it beside you. The council officials were surprised, but they didn't stop her. Later that day, Zoreya moved into a small room next to Cole's workshop. She helped with repairs, studied Earth history, and even made a few human friends. Slowly, people on the outpost began to trust her, not because of her powers, but because of her choices. One evening, as they sat watching the stars, Cole handed her a small object. It was a music player, loaded with Earth songs. What's this for? She asked. For your new life, he said. Every good story needs a soundtrack. Zoreya laughed softly. A sound no one on the outpost had ever heard before. And in that quiet moment, Two souls from different worlds sat side by side, not as alien and human, not as savior and saved, but as equals. The galaxy was vast, full of war and fear, but on one small outpost something rare had been born: hope.